How many of you have in your organization strategies focused on delivering value to your stakeholders, to your customers, to your clients, to your patients? Most of you aren't putting strategies in place that say, we want to deliver a lot of stuff cheaply. Your strategies are, we want to be value added. If you're in healthcare, the payers, the third-party payers will only pay for value. They won't pay you for performance, whether you admitted and did surgery. They pay you for value, whether your surgery worked and you didn't have to readmit a patient. In fact, depending on the diagnosis, readmitting a patient within a certain amount of time is actually not reimbursable, because it wasn't valuable. So all of our organizations are wanting to deliver value. Therefore, to align with our organizations, we would need each of our employees to deliver value. Our hard assets, we want return on investment. Our talent assets, we want value. The value that employees deliver adds up to the value the customer experiences. And yet, we still measure performance. Performance has very little correlation to value. I have gone into major organizations and I've looked at their performance ratings, and I've looked at their value defined by 10 key items, not all of which are financial. Things like patient and customer satisfaction, market share, longevity, sustainability, attractiveness to hire. Looked at the value proposition. And what I found out is those folks that had bell-shaped curves in their performance were closely aligned with value, but not completely. Most of you, your performance measures have no alignment with value. Here's what's crazy about that. You've got high performers that you are telling them they're a 5 and they're unfit for human consumption. You've got team members, project managers, who you'd say are top performers, and they've never delivered a project on time or on budget, ever. And we give them a 5. I've sat in the C-suite when you've come in and said, we need more money for bonuses and raises because our people have done so well. We have so many top performers. When our financials said we had the worst year ever. And when I said, what's up? You go, well, the economy's down. It's not really, they worked hard, the economy's down. And I said, I'm not going to pay somebody who hasn't figured out how to achieve value in a down economy. It's not about effort. See, measuring performance is like measuring somebody's cholesterol level to see if they have diabetes. It's no longer a relative metric. So when we looked at this and we said, what makes up value? If you look at the value of a consumable item, value is, does it do what it says it's going to do, right? Does it even perform? It's like pass-fail. Is it sustainable? Will it perform well into the future? And in order to know what's value, we have to look at what cost, what total cost, even cost of ownership. And we need to do that with our employees as well. Now, when you look at employee value, this is the value of their work, not them as a human being. Everyone has value as a human being. I'm just asking you to make sure you're clear on the value of their work. So if you want to really understand your value and the value of the people you work with, if you want to know what boosts your value and kills your chances, let's run through this formula. First of all, you look at your performance on a scale of 1 to 5. 1, you're on performance plan, it's low. 3, you are consistently delivering what the organization requires. Now that's a twist. You should look at strategy, and what you deliver cascades down. See, what the organization requires is that you increase sales 10% even in a down economy. It doesn't give you extra bonus points for circumstances. So a 3 is somebody who delivers what the organization requires, not what's easy, not what's doable, not what they like, not what's always in their strengths wheelhouse, but what the organization requires. A 5 is somebody who's breaking the curve. And these numbers aren't ego numbers. How I know that you're accurately rating is that an individual's rating over a course of 5 years should change consistently by a point. I've been a 5 in my life. Curve breaker, they rewarded me, then they came and studied me. They made that the new standardized process, and just to get a 3, those were the results you produced. I've been a 2 in my life. I had 2 babies in 1 year. They were not twins. I was a 2 because I had great leaders who were honest with me. My goal became get to work with no puke on my shirt, and their goals were a little different, right? Now, on a scale of 1 to 5, if I had to rate myself, I would give myself and my performance a 3. And some of you are so gracious. You're like, Sai, you're better than that. You're awesome. I go, thank you, and you're delusional. Because, see, my competition isn't speakers you've seen before. My competition is thought leaders worldwide. At the National SHRM, I can apply for a keynote, but if Hillary Clinton applies, guess what I get? Breakout session. See, she's a 5, and I'm a 3. Oprah 5, Sai 3. When my new book came out, it hit the New York Times bestseller list. I started thinking I'm at least a 4. And then my staff calibrated with me. They said, Sai, come here. They go, congratulations on hitting the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. That's great stuff. And let's be very clear. You've been in the business 20 years. The fact that you wrote a book, that's called Right on Target. And the fact that it was a bestseller is fairly expected, that if you've been in the market this long and what you write should actually be good. And then they said, you're not a 4, Sai. Daniel Pink, he has 17 bestsellers. You have 1. Daniel's 4, you're 1. And I go, oh, I got it again. See, a lot of us go, but I was a 4-point student. And I go, good job in college. It's not the same. But I work really hard. Sai, I do more than my fair share. I go, thank you. Seriously, Sai, I do more than my fair share. I go, seriously, thank you. Performance should be rating the work, not the person. Now let's look at potential. Potential is whether you have any odds of performing far into the future. Potential is how ready you are for what's next. Are you keeping up with the times faster than your market's changing? Are you staying relevant? See, a lot of people, we've led them to believe that change is hard. How many of you have change management programs that you give people time to grieve? Yeah. And see, I think that makes sense. If you lose your partner, your spouse, a child, your long, loved pet, you probably do need time to grieve. But your software? Really? See, what I tell people is get fluent, but not attached. I'm going to be back for it. Here's your software. Don't fall in love. I'm getting it in probably 2 years. I just want you fluent. Are you ready for what's next? See, people think change is hard, but you know what? Change is only hard for the unready. In fact, I'll be so controversial as to rename unemployment a measure of unready. If you're unemployed for a year or more, that's about unreadiness because all of us have jobs we're dying to fill. We just can't find candidates successful. Does that make sense? If I'm ready for change, I just move into it freely. So let's talk potential. A 1 in potential on a scale of 1 to 5. A 1 is low potential. Not could they do more, not like your talent assessments. It's how zealous they are for learning. Like a 1, when you go to them, you see you have training tomorrow, they go, do I have to? Is it mandatory? What will happen if I don't go? Actually, one guy say, I know y'all are moving to Outlook, but can't we just do courier for me? I'm only going to be here like 3 more years. Anybody have a few of those folks? Yeah, a 3 in potential is somebody keeping up with the times, somebody who is continuing their education, they're involved in their industry, they're involved in professional organizations, they're personally evolving themselves, health and spirit and mind. They love to teach. They are great learners. They're multi-generational. They're multicultural. They are citizens of the universe, and they're responsible citizens of the universe. A 5 is genius-level stuff, people inventing the future. I know a guy at National Institute of Health. He's growing livers in Petri dishes. He's a 5. He's figured out how to grow livers in Petri dishes. He says that in 20 years, you'll be able to go into Walmart and pick up a case of beer and a liver. I'm so impressed with this man.